Welcome to the Turkish VC podcast, where we talk about the Turkish entrepreneurship and VC ecosystem. This is our inaugural episode, and our guest today is Berk Üder. Berk is the co-founder and board member of Stargate, which is an incubator focused on gaming here in Istanbul, Turkey. And it's super appropriate that we have Berk here with us today because we're in the offices of Stargate in the beautiful building that they've set up here. They've provided this podcast studio for us to use. So thank you for letting us make use of your space. And Berk, I'm excited to talk with Berk because he has a really interesting background. Started out with a background in technology, studying computer science and electrical engineering, and moved his way through mobile and advertising, and now into running this incubator focused on gaming, and also starting up a VC fund for gaming. So I wanted to start with that. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about your career and how you got into this space, how you broke into VC and entrepreneurship in gaming.
Okay, thanks for inviting me to this podcast, and thanks for being with Stargate, and also thanks for also to TürkNet for being for Stargate for just the beginning, because it's very valuable for the entrepreneurship and the startup in Turkey. What I say is we don't need money. We need to team up with the industry to just create these buildings, this ecosystem or something. So what I want to say is I'm 47. I'm just saying my age because I'm just in this industry for the last 27 years. I'm just saying that I just saw the invention of the electricity, internet, computers or something. So we were lucky our age because we just saw the morning of all the technologies. So like for this, I just want to say that, okay, you can Google any knowledge, but you cannot Google any experience. So what I try to bring here is I try to share our experiences, my experiences and my friends' experiences. So we don't compete, we are going to compete with the market. So for me, I just started as a developer in 1997. Then I just worked for like the hardware or something when I was just studying computer science and engineering. Then my first start was AMY Ventures Group. So the idea was the spin-off of the company. So there was a holding company, AMVG. So AMVG is just creating mobile businesses because I saw the mobile, like Turkcell, the other operators. So in these times, there was no VCs in Turkey. So I just were in Palo Alto in 2009. So there was a question from one of the pitches, and that, what's the barrier of entry? And I thought that there is no barrier of entry in Turkey because there is no VCs in 2009. But now we are lucky that all the companies from Turkey, just most of the people in my age just started to investing for our people, for our talent, for the future. So the main idea of Startgate is it's a center of incubation in Turkey to bring all the people together with these valuable assets. Like the internet communication is provided by TürkNet with the best performance because we have companies developing the games. So when you develop a games, when you test the games, one of the main things is the connection when you make a test.
So let's get into that. I mean, I think that's really a great vision that you have here at Startgate to bring all these different partners together. But I really like what you said about, you're honest telling us your age. I'm 50. I just turned 50.
So we had
and I think that, it's kind of similar paths, similar evolution you go through. And it's nice to see this. You've seen the whole mobile revolution. I've been part of that. And now, excuse me for kind of putting words in your mouth, but it's kind of the same thing that I see with others around our age. We're getting to the point where we're now, we've gained this experience, right? In some sense, we're dinosaurs in the industry, but in the other sense, as you say, we've gained wisdom, and it's a great time now to be able to use that wisdom to help a new generation come through and create their stories and create bigger and better successes, and take it from there. So that's really wonderful. It's nice to hear kind of your motivation there. And so let's get into a little bit what you've done with Startgate. So it's an incubator.
Yep.
And you were explaining, part of the idea is to use other brands and other companies and have them also kind of be partners to help the game developers that will come through Startgate.
Yep. So like Startgate is an ecosystem, not just this building. Like with this area, we can just say that okay, Startgate is the biggest game and innovation center of Europe and Middle East because of the area. But I always exited the stories. We just need the stories to be exited or to be have the success stories. I just wanted one more sentence about the history of okay, like there was a GSM in 1990s. After the GSM, we have the mobile phones. Mobile phones became better, then the internet speed is up. Internet speed is up, then we have the more talented handsets. It was a synchronous process. Now everything is asynchronous. Like every invention is going very accelerated now. We have the VRs, the handsets or the devices are growing accelerating very fast. The connection is very fast. So sometimes that it's hard for these entrepreneurs to succeed because they need to understand every process of the technology. But in Startgate, what we try to do is we try to make their life easier to bring the best people as their mentors or like giving the best experiences with best quality, like best partnerships. Like we have the partnership with Nvidia, we have the partnership with Amazon, we have the partnership with Epic, we have the partnership with Microsoft, we have lots of we have the partnership with TurkNet, like we have the partnership with MSI or something. So this is because we are bringing everything together on the table for them. So the main idea is the game on Startgate, but life is a game, yeah. So we try to make an adaptation between the games. What I call for Startgate is the first operating system of the gaming industry. Why I call the operating system, to give the clear answer of your question, is that we have the operating systems like handsets. So when you develop something to the end user for the game, you don't get it about the chips, CPUs, or something on the device. There's an operating system helps you to create your dreams best with UI to the end users. So we are the same. Nobody about the other layers. We are just doing the best. We have the best people. Do what you for the best. So the first thing we are looking on the entrepreneurship is the passion. Okay, if you have the passion, that's fine. If you have the passion and if you have an idea, it's okay. If you have the passion, if you have the idea, and if you have a team, it's great. If you have passion, if you have an idea, and if you have a game or something or a game tech, we can invest it. For this purpose, we had just initiated our VC arm, is Playgate Ventures. So maybe.
Yeah, I'd love to hear about that as well. So I love the analogy using the technology analogy, the OSI layers for what you're doing here. And so so let's get into the venture capital fund. So in the kind of the Turkish legal structure, it's called the GSYF, GSYF, a venture capital investment fund, and so that's also gaming focused. And I want to talk about that a little bit. So gaming is a huge industry in Turkey now. We've had several large exits. How do you see the gaming industry in Turkey? It's really interesting. Do we have ideas about why gaming, right? Why did Turkey become great at gaming? And how did you come to gaming? Were you interested before? Are you a gamer personally, or did you kind of come to it with the idea that this is where things are happening entrepreneurially?
Okay. So like I just entered the gaming 2 years ago. So before that, my company was acquired by WPP. So I was just I was the chief product innovation officer of WPP and the group in Turkey and part. So what I saw is I'm lucky because I just graduated from the engineering. Then I had a great habitat for learning the marketing like the W or something with the agencies, and I just worked it. So what I say is it's an experience. The gaming is an experience. So after the COVID, everything is just changed. Like I'm mainly the data and innovation and technical guy. And this is the name of my son in binary, and this is the name of my daughter in binary.
That's awesome.
So why I entered gaming is I try to bring the brands to the gaming industry, because they want to just touch the new generation.
For those who are just listening, by the way, he showed the tattoos on his arms. Zeros and ones in binary.
Okay. So this is I just entered the gaming industry, but it's a technology, yeah. So but difference is you are just getting in the people's lives. So like there was just neuromarketing in 3 or 5 years ago. It was just like AI. Everybody was talking about neuromarketing or something. So if you touch the senses of the people, with the great ideas, you can just bring the people in your story. So the gaming is something like that for the industry. And why Turkey is just leading some of the gaming? Because we have some different mechanics. The Turkish people, we can just solve all the problems in a short-term way, or like there is two algorithms: first in first out, last in first out, and we have the mixed in first out algorithm in our brains, so we can just solve the problem. So the gaming is the same thing. So it's a gamification. So in Startgate, we are just involved for the Playgate VC. We are just investing for the game and the game techs. And what's different for us is we didn't, when we just established our VC, we didn't say, okay, there is a Playgate. We didn't say something like this. Okay, we established Playgate to team up with the industry. So now we are team up for all the VCs or the other
I saw you're partnering with Ludus, one of the
Ludus and
Turkish gaming-focused VCs.
we are partnering with all. We are partnering with Repai. We are partnering with Ludus. We are partnering with like Revo or something. But we are because how we partner is if there is something is born in Startgate, we say okay, we are just this. We just this game or game tech technology is just born in the Startgate, and we are volunteered to just invest in X ticket, and there is an evaluation. So please, can you check this company and make an evaluation? If it's fine, we need to team up for this company to be invested.
So I think you have a really, in some sense, unique background. I mean, one of the things I'm finding is we have great talent in Turkey. Not just, a lot of people, we're talking a lot about the young generation. That's a large number of technical graduates every year coming out of Turkish universities. Not just technical, but, art, industrial engineering, a good talent for startups. But we also have a wealth of kind of the previous cycle that's been through. So you've been through sort of the mobile and first wave of internet, and really for entrepreneurship and VC, a great background because you have the technical background and you have the business and advertising marketing background. This is really unique to bring together. We often tend to see VC as a kind of financial business. But, if you're looking at it just from pure financial numbers, it's not going to work because, the typical thing they say is if you have no revenue, how can you do an NPV analysis on zero revenue, right? So, and you're talking about all the right things. You're talking about is the team passionate? Do they have an idea they're going after? So it's really great to hear you talking about, exactly the right kind of things. It was going to be one of my questions. Maybe we can lead on to that. I mean, what do you look for in gaming entrepreneurs? Is there kind of, to follow on from that, is there a particular kind of subsector or sub business model within gaming that you have thoughts about? Casual gaming, hyper casual gaming was very popular for a while, then new things become popular. Is that something you think about?
Yeah, I don't just categorize the industry because the technology is accelerating very fast. So like now we are just talking about the quantum computing on the cloud. So like because of this 27 years experience, you sometimes create a fortune telling. So like in 2 years we are going to talk about the cloud, gaming, quantum. Now they are all open, but they are expensive. They are going to be cheap. So what's happening is the most important thing is the connection speed. So we are going to be device. We are not going to talk about the device centric. We are going to talk about the screen size adapted gaming in your time or life journey. Okay, we can talk about mobile, but there is a smart TV games, There's Android on the TVs. Nobody's talking about the games on the TVs. And the cloud is just accelerating very fast. So you cannot, I don't believe that the TV manufacturers are going to make lots of investments for putting the NVIDIA's GPUs on the TVs. So when a gaming startup or game tech startup just making a presentation or something, I try to understand their future perspective. Passion is okay, but can they just read some important points about for the next 1 years? Because the problem is, if you start to develop a game, it takes like 1 or 1.5 years. If you were talking about this kind of like 1 year or 1.5 years, in 2002, it was okay. But you know the Einstein E is equal to mc square. So like it's very fast now. So you start the game now, or you start the technology now, and you are going to finish in 2027. When you finish it, everything can be changed. So I'm just also looking for the team's adaptation about the feature text. And if they are saying that, okay, we have an idea like this, we have the passion like this, we are going to may develop the game like this. But we know that, for example, cloud gaming is going to be very important. And we are going to have a spin-off there adapted with the cloud gaming. And because of this, we just made we are going to have a module as an engineering that's going to make an adaptation between the screens. That's great.
So a vision.
Yeah, vision.
And oftentimes, I mean, to be a successful gaming company in the long term, it's more about being a game studio, right? It's not just having one successful game, but kind of having a vision for the future, and then maybe also, as you said, being able to adapt, right? Follow the market and pivot when necessary.
It's the same with the AI. So everybody is talking about the AI, but you know that the AI was in our life like for the last 5 or 6 years. But all the algorithms and the platforms were B2B. The companies were using this kind of AIs in their technological assets they are providing to their end users. Like when you call a call center, they are the call center agent, or you can just make a voice opt-in or authentication for the last 40 years. It was also something like LLP, but now what's changed is the same algorithms and the platforms are just converted or transformed from B2B to B2C. I am sometimes giving a presentation in universities and innovation out, transformation in. We were just talking about the technologies, then we talked about innovations. Now we are talking about transformation. The future is the transformation of the technologies. We are not inventing something new. We are just making a transformation of all the industries or our lives by using the innovations driven by the technologies that were invented for the last 30 years.
That's great. Now, the VC fund you've created, it's the first fund, just newly created.
Yeah, we just like 1 month ago. Yeah.
So you'll have a long time ahead. It's typically, is it a 7-year or 10-year fund?
It's like approximately 8-year fund.
8 years. So you'll have 8 years. Hopefully, a second, third fund coming on. How do you see the VC ecosystem evolving in Turkey? We've seen a lot of VC funds get created, the local GSYF, the Turkish legislation, the domiciliation, the Turkish VC funds. Do you think there'll be more focused on gaming? How do you see the kind of the space evolving in Turkey?
On this, we are also looking at the management or the founders of the VCs are the people who made an exit from the similar industries before, like our friends, like our generation. So most of the VCs in Turkey is not just a financial instrument. Like we are talking about Ludus, so they're the exit guys. So most of the VCs.
Well, there are some.
There are some, okay.
If we're honest, because the incentives, which are great, there's the government has created incentives for money to go into these GSYF funds.
Yep.
And so there's a lot of these funds that seem to be purely run by financial institutions. But you're right, there are also, and I think that's a really good point. The idea of exited founders who want to help the next generation. It's kind of what we were talking about at the beginning, that not just sort of for us, but also when we talked about why is the gaming industry developing in Turkey, because one of the reasons is, yes, there's maybe something in the Turkish, in the air that makes it adapted to, the people, the talent here is good or interested in making games. But there's also, once you have a few exited founders in the gaming industry, then they help, it's aspirational, they help pull others because they see the exits, and also they help mentor and invest in the next round. So anyway, that was just a parenthesis. But we do see some VC funds in Turkey that are kind of in my view, much too financially focused and don't have
it's not naturally in the world,
entrepreneurial background. But sorry, go ahead. So there are some, which is great also, as you were saying, that have the entrepreneurial background.
But like it's the same in all the countries in the world. So like it's the every industry should be like the homogeneous. Like, so okay, we have the VCs driven by the entrepreneurs, but the entrepreneurs doesn't just drive with the money; they drive with the vision. But money really comes from the like the financial instruments or the ecosystem. And for the government, yes, for the Turkish government is really supporting this kind of VCs and innovation. Like the fund that you told is, if you get an innovational support from or R&D support from the government, you need to make an investment for a VC in Turkey that's going to be invested for a new generation of VC. So there is a cycle. So this is a good process. So for example, this creates an obligation to make an investment for the new generations. Before that, like we were just talking about stories that, okay, like he or she made an exit and he didn't make anything for the investment of his industry. Now he is like in Hawaii, Dubai, or something. But you don't see these kind of stories in Turkey. Like so, the government also created a system.
So tax incentives
Yeah.
help to encourage kind of reinvesting.
So this is like a process that, okay, you were the new generation. Now you are the you just born, and then you just became fan. Then you just created some industry. So you try to get an R&D support for the government. Now it's time for you to give something to the new generation, to the new ideas, to the new stories. So the stories feeds the stories. The stories feeds the stories.
That's great.
It can fail, no problem.
So are you seeing some of the interests sort of from an LP or investor perspective in your fund are also these kind of exited founders, or are there other partners that you see as your key investors?
Yep, like when I was just talking with our LPs or try to get like investment from the LPs, I didn't just look for the money. I tried to find the experience and smart monies. Like the Tailwords, the Tailwords is the biggest PC company, development company in Turkey.
Based in Ankara.
Based in Ankara. And they are one of the LPs of Playgate Ventures. Koda is one of the technology companies. They are the investor. Active Tech, like they are just building. They are one of the investors of the Playgate Ventures. One of the movie makers for the children is ISFA is one of the LPs of Playgate. So also the LPs of the Playgate VC is coming from the industries to support the new generations. It's not just make an investment and waiting for the return. It's an investment to create new stories, to create a return by generating stories. And if fails, no problem. We tried, we invested, we can try again. If there is a success story, now it's your turn, bro. You need to invest here. So we are looking for those kind of LPs or that. I am also like when I was in WP, I just met with Bitcraft guys. So I am talking also with Bitcraft or some of the global VCs to make an investment for Turkey with the Playgate. But the problem is the ticket size. Yeah, that like they are the billion or they are like their last fund is $750 million. So
it's interesting because it's like a chicken and the egg problem where I think there's still a big gap. There's so much talent and interest and not enough funds available to invest in startups. And then there's these huge funds abroad, but they're too big.
Yeah, that's
so it's a bit of a paradox in a sense. But there's another way, which I'm sure makes sense as a way to kind of work with the VCs abroad, which all the gaming VCs abroad, they have Turkey on their radar now. Is they'll be interested in your portfolio as you grow, even if they're not co-investing or LPs in your fund or early stage. As the companies grow, we've seen several exits, and so there's definitely interest.
I have this kind of some funny stories. Like there was a game company, and we were just looking for like $500,000 investment, and like this VC was saying that my minimum ticket is $1 million. I just said, your problem is you want to invest, but you cannot invest less than $1 million. Look at this problem for the VC. But I understand their proposition. Yeah.
Right.
Like, okay, they see there's a sparkling story. There's a great idea on the say, but they cannot invest because of their ticket size is higher than the investment required by the company. But when I talk with the founders of the company, they don't want to give more equity for VC. So it's like chicken egg problem.
Right. Well. I mean, I'm convinced. Every action helps, and you'll be part of solving that problem. And it'll take time, but that's okay. I mean, this leads into another question I had, which is, starting to tell stories. I always love it when we get to stories. All entrepreneurs have interesting stories, I find. I mean, are there any success stories, or success or not, or interesting stories about the gaming industry and Stargate so far? I know you had a first game jam. How did that go? Do you want to tell us a little bit about what a game jam
So
is?
like it's one of the things that we love to do it. Yeah. So we just start doing the game jams in Stargate like 1.5 years ago. So like it was like 48 hours. So what we did is I just asked, or I just called to my friends on the brands that, okay, there is an industry like this. I want to get we are going to make a game jam, but I want them to have their best benefits or opportunities or something on the game jam. So I don't want them to bother about eating, like the engagement or entertainment. They will just do the coding. So
you gave them places to sleep. You gave them free food.
we give everything free food, something, computers. Like we are just giving back all the sponsors fees as a reward to the game jams. So like the
They were here for 48 hours to try to develop
Yep.
a game in teams.
Yep, but the most important thing is the not the physical benefits. Those were the optional benefit, but we gave it. The most important benefits is the people, the mentors of the game jam. They were just the leading people from the industry, like best game designer or like best developer or something. And we just made a partnership with the VCs. So in our last game jam, all the VCs in Turkey was our partner because they were just here meeting with the like new talents on the game jam and see the next like I can I can shift the time by using this proportion because they are the new generations, they are the university students, they are here for 48 hours to develop a game and meet with a VC and one of the leading VCs in Turkey. VCs can see that what's going to be next on the new talents, what can they create, and the talents can see what's a VC. They are not something that they need to afraid of. They are their friends. They are their like partners in their life. So we have the media partners, for example. So like one of the leading medias were the sponsors or the partners for our game jam. So we are just touching all the pieces of the industry when make a game jam. It's not just get okay guys, like let's come here and we are going to have a hackathon or game jam for 48 hours, develop what you want, blah blah blah. So this is our their comfort zone, so we need to try like with the physical assets like eating, like rewards or something, that's fine. But the most important thing is we are not bringing, so like we are creating an ecosystem in the game jam to bring the people together for creating a new stories for the future. This is same for the Turknet, for example. Thanks also again for Turknet,
You
but
sponsored. We gave.
yeah, you sponsored also. You sponsored for Stargate for from the beginning. But Discord is closed in Turkey. So what we did is okay. We are no worries because dream something. Maybe you can create it. So we made an alternative solution for Discord by using a company that's born in Stargate Game.actor. It's the first gaming social media, and we also use Atlas.space. It's a VR space. So the two companies just made a collaboration, just created a tool to make an online game jam while the Discord is closed. Okay, we have the two platforms combined together, but we need the connection to be just sustainable. So then, like Turknet provide all the connection with the like direct and like 5 or 10G, and two platforms came together. So while the Discord is closed, by using these three companies team up, we created the first local solution for an online game jam. It can, like the teams told that it can fail. I said, okay, no problem. We tried. Like when you don't, for the entrepreneurs, when you don't try for anything, because you think that you are failed, you are always in the 0 point.
Yeah.
But if you try and fail, your 0.001 is bigger than zero.
You have to buy a ticket to win the lottery, right?
Yeah.
I love that story. I mean, necessity is the mother of invention. I think it's a great vision too. I saw some of the footage, great atmosphere and energy among the participants. You had influencers, esports world champions,
Yeah.
other VCs who were acting as, joining in on with the teams and seeing how they're doing and checking in on them. So, that part, as you mentioned, is super important, super valuable. But don't play down. I mean, it's a beautiful space here. You're right in the heart of Maslak business district in Istanbul. It's a beautiful building, and you've really created a great space for them as well. So I think that really helps too. It sounds superficial, right? And you're kind of downplaying it, saying, but it's so much important that we've created the mentorship. But actually, I think those things matter, and you've done a great job there. And I think that really helped. And hopefully, others will take note and I mean, everybody should provide that for these kinds of hackathons or game jams. But you've really done a good job there. Is there anything else you would have wanted me to ask you? We've kind of run the course of the questions I had in mind, but
Okay. So, don't forget that. So this might be the last words that I'm just maybe say that. Okay. Don't forget that in every morning, all the human beings wake up with the same psychology. You open your eyes and you also open your eyes. We are all in the nature mode. Yeah. Wake up. When you just bother about all the problems, how can I solve it or something? You just crawl with the problems or something. Just wake up. It's the same for the businesses. But just inject the most energy to your life because it's a new day. It's a new chance. Everything is like the people are just, I want to just born again when I die. If you want to born again when you die, okay, you can wake up in every day if you have a problem.
you can be born again every day. You don't have to wait till you die.
Yeah, okay.
Awesome.
You should categorize the problems that the problems I can solve in a short term and the problems I can solve in a long term. It's the same for the business. It's the same for entrepreneurs. It's the same for everything. So if you have this way of thinking in your life, you can solve the problem. And there are two words. The question has an answer. The problem has a solution. Sometimes people are saying, we have a problem. What's blah, blah. It's not a problem. It's a question I can answer because I know the answer or I don't know. But the problem has a solution like algorithms or something. So please differentiate the questions and the problems.
I like that. It reminds me of something I read recently about the difference between a puzzle and a problem.
Yep.
Maybe it's very similar that, a puzzle is something that has a fixed answer, but a problem is something that you have to discover the solution to. It's you don't just find the answer, you have to search for it. And I think that kind of search, that discovery process is really key to entrepreneurship. Actually, we're all searching for discovering solutions that people need. If everybody knew the answer, then it would have been done already. But the beautiful part about entrepreneurship is searching and discovering new ways to meet people's needs. I think it's great that you touched on this kind of.
Just one more thing about this idea is, sorry for interruption, but okay, for every question you have an answer. If you don't know anything, the answer is I don't know. That's fine. This is the answer. You ask me something I don't know. Please say if you don't know. Every problem has a solution. Once I thought that there is no solution. That's it. Why? Okay, I thought there is no solution is the solution. Like sinus alpha over alpha is infinite. We say in the algorithms, like in engineering, it's infinite. We don't know the answer, but we just put infinity. So, okay, the questions has an answer. The last answer that you cannot find is I don't know. Every problem has a solution. Worst case, there is no solution is the solution of the problem.
That's
the wording.
answer too. I wanted to. That brings me. One other thing I wanted to touch on, which is it would be nice to touch on. Really, people might not get a sense. I believe that funding entrepreneurship, whether it's incubation or running a VC, which you're doing both of, how transformational that is in Turkey. I mean, we talk about, the gaming industry is doing really well in Turkey. And so, there's been great exits. And so it's wonderful to invest in that. And, there may be other markets that it's great to invest in, in those markets. But I think beyond that, one really interesting thing about the entrepreneurship ecosystem in Turkey and VC in Turkey is that how transformational it is. I mean, we were talking about startups that are looking for $50,000 investments and, in VCs abroad for which the minimum ticket is $1 million. I mean, that's how big the gap is, the need for funding. I mean, I think what you touched on with your philosophy also ties into, it's something more meaningful for you than just a financial play. Are there anything you could say or talk to or stories or examples about how this is transformational for some of the entrepreneurs that you're supporting?
Like for this transformation, I just created a framework for the startups, for the VCs, 1-to-1 framework or something. Okay, every VC is just saying, okay, my ticket is like 50K to 250, and the other like pre-seed, seed, blah 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 blah. So using the same algorithms like triggering. So, okay, I have a sheet like the pre-seed VCs, seed, series, blah, blah. So when I just make an investment for the pre-seed and it's going fine, I'm making a trigger for the next step VCs saying that, okay, my ticket is $1 million. It's fine, understand? So like, what if I say 3 months ago, hey bro, there is a new startup. It's hopefully they are going to be like, okay, for your ticket size, and I'm just going to make an organization to meet with you in the next 2 months. It's time saving, it's an optimization, and it's just stopping the piece of the industry. Like, okay, we're fine there. Like, we have the VCs for $5 million tickets. $5 million is huge. But I know some companies, they are going to be hopefully get an investment from this Series A VCs. What if I say a VC that, okay, in Playgate Ventures portfolio, we have this company, and hopefully next year they are going to be fully granted to get an investment from you. Then you organize your like brain or your knowledge about, okay, there is a company that's going to come for the next year. It's a time shifting. So it's very clear. There is a sheet, all the names, all the tickets or something. So like this is also, so that the problem was
Gets the ball rolling.
Yeah, there was just parameters. Like the problem was ticket sizes, numbers, and we need an algorithm. So the algorithm is basic. If blah blah x is smaller than blah, there's a for loop for x is less than $1 million, exit for when it's bigger than exit, then go to like x is the next VC. It's like a coding algorithm.
Right. It becomes part of the whole, you're developing a whole ecosystem basically from scratch. And so the entrepreneurs, the talent that comes in your game jams, but also in your incubator, those are your deal flow.
Yep.
And they're also deal flow for the partner VCs that you work with. So that's a great synergy there between an incubator and setting up your own fund.
Yep.
Right.
Thank you.
Benden bu kadar.
Yapalım mı?
Ne kadar şey yaptık? Kaç dakika?
Bence bilirsiniz bayağı uzun oldu.
Tabii bölüm şekilde
O zaman
şey
bir
yaptım.
Kapanışı alalım abi. Sağ ol abi, süper. Yani sen de benim gibisin. Senkron akabiliyorsun.
Çok güzel.
Ben girip konuşabiliyorum farkındaysan.
Teşekkür En son bir
Düşüneyim.
teşekkür ederim.
Tamam. I want to thank Berk Üder for participating today, for being my guest. And I think we had a really great conversation, discovering the gaming ecosystem, Stargate, the incubator and VC fund that they've created. And I love that we got to hear some of his philosophy and motivation. It's more than just finance. I think entrepreneurship and VC always is or should be. Often it is, and that's what's exciting about it. And, we're at the beginning of the ecosystem in Turkey, and it's great to see how it's getting the ball rolling. And I'm excited to see what will come of it. So thank you again, Berk. I hope this was fun for you as well. I'll leave the parting word for you.
Okay, I like to talk because I'm ADHD. So thanks for inviting me to this podcast. So the last thing is don't give up until you breathe. Yeah, that's all.
Very good.
Thank you.